first, we're going to take you live to Washington, D.C., where the world champion Kansas City Royals are getting ready to meet President Obama at the White House. Belgian authorities say they will give us an update at 7 a.m. our time. We'll bring you that here on KCTV5. We will have updates throughout the day as well. My key to the game tonight, one big difference maker in this game. His name's Julian Edelman. We saw him before the game warming up on the field. The guy missed 7 games with a broken foot. Tonight, 10 catches, 100 yards. What he does is he plays that slot, opens up the field for Rob Gronkowski, and makes it really easy on Tom Brady. Pretty simple. Put a bow on it. Julian Edelman, the difference maker here. Republican Congressman Kevin Yoder is joining us live from Washington, D.C. this morning with reaction from the president's final State of the Union address. Congressman, good morning. Pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I thought it was interesting last night, Congressman. In his final State of the Union address, the president said he failed over 2 terms to unite the 2 parties. But my question is, do you think someone like Donald Trump, the presumptive Republican nominee, who the base of your own party does not support, would actually do any better if elected? Well, we've got a quote for you. The president said the American economy is the strongest in the world. Now, Ronald Reagan asked the same question way back in 1980. But do you think Americans are better off today than they were 4 or even 8 years ago now? Yeah, Congressman, I think it's safe to say that the American people and the economy was struggling in 2008 when George W. Bush left office as well. But hey, I want to pivot now to a little bit of a lighter moment here. Kansas City Chiefs have a football game on Saturday. Not sure if you guys have heard about that in Washington, but they play the Patriots. Who do you like? Sally, in the film, your character Doris has been called funny, lovable, and real. And I actually heard you say in an interview that Doris has a lot of you in her. A lot of arrogance here in the city of Foxborough, Massachusetts. But I guess when you are what some people call the evil empire or the Yankees of the NFL, that kind of comes with the territory. Almost too many storylines to cover. Last night I had the opportunity to sit down with a man whose father played for the Patriots and who's had the privilege of covering the Patriots for 30 years for our sister station in Boston. His name's Steve Burton. Here's what he had to say about how seriously the Pats are taking our Chiefs. Well, Jenna, I've heard you say that you are both nerds for our national parks. So I'm wondering, where did this all come from? I was actually married in Kennebunkport, Maine a couple of years ago, and I can't tell you how many times my mother-in-law, Donna, has said that she's seen Mrs. Bush walking on the beaches really early in the morning. So why are the outdoors so important to the Bush family? Well, Jenna, I wasn't going to bring this up. I know you're easy to tears. Your grandfather, President George H.W. Bush, actually wrote me a note before my wedding. We got married at St. Anne's, and he said the key to a long marriage... He did. Yeah, he did. I have it framed in my house. He said the key to a long marriage is putting each other first, and I thought that just spoke to you guys so well.
Oh, that's so sweet. You are trying to make me cry, aren't you?
In case you haven't heard, a political candidate known for making outlandish statements is making headlines yet again. This is the front page of the Philadelphia Daily News newspaper this morning. The paper is getting a lot of attention for comparing Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler. Certainly not something you want to see or hear, especially if you're just waking up, but it's just the latest backlash after what the presidential candidate said about Muslims living here in America at a rally in South Carolina. A new poll found that Donald Trump's popularity is fading and fast. In the Associated Press poll, 7 out of 10 people say they have an unfavorable opinion of Donald Trump right now, including half of voting Republicans. Those numbers consistent across all genders, ages, and races. Trump is meeting with GOP leaders right now to try and figure out how to win over some of those voters before the July convention. We are live here at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Mass., where 80,000 fans will descend upon this stadium tomorrow at 4:35 Eastern, 3:35 Central for the divisional game between the Chiefs and Patriots. Now, I want to draw your attention to the field surface here. The last time the Chiefs played at Gillette Stadium, this was actually real grass. Now it's field turf, a real rubbery, soft surface. It is wet right now. It's expected to be wet tomorrow. We'll see how that plays a role in the game and Alex Smith's ability to scramble and that sort of thing. But Tom Brady, who is now 38 years old, requested that he get field turf instead of actual grass because it's easier on his 38-year-old knees. We will have more from Gillette Stadium throughout the morning. Updates on Doug Peterson and Jeremy Maclin as well. As we look back at the first 50 years of Super Bowl history, it's hard not to look forward to the next 50. In 1969, the league had just a handful of teams, where today the NFL seems ripe for expansion overseas, an international game with teams dotting the globe. I sat down with a man who is certainly in the know, Chiefs Chairman and CEO Clark Hunt.
Well, I am chair of the International Committee.
Canada's got the CFL, replete with their own Super Bowl, fondly known as the Grey Cup. The NFL has 32 teams, and the owners seem content to keep that number there. But every decade or so, the Shield seems to find a reason for expansion. But that expansion in the first 50 years of the NFL has remained squarely in the lower 48. Hawaii's got the Pro Bowl, but Honolulu has yet to get a team of their own for one simple reason. From the West Coast alone, the flight is almost 6 hours. Air travel shrunk the world in the 1960s with the introduction of the jumbo jet. But the NFL has never expanded beyond San Francisco in the west and New England in the east. And the last time I checked, teams weren't flying on the now defunct Concorde. But that could all change.
In the world we live in today, right, it's globalizing in every aspect. You probably see it from a sports standpoint most in soccer. Soccer is a very international sport.
Over the last decade, teams have made the trip across the pond to London to play regular season games. The Chiefs took the trip this past season, and despite the time it takes to actually get there, the league seems set on setting up a franchise in Europe.
And you could even envision a division that's based over there, which would help with some of the travel dynamics.
London, Paris, Madrid, even Berlin have all been mentioned. And at some point, possibly within the next 10 years, we could have our first team established across an ocean. Hunt says there are still logistics to work out, but it's clearly doable. And for the game's popularity to continue to grow, they're going to have to look beyond our shores.
The NFL realizes that to continue to grow, that we're going to have to look beyond the U.S.
Hunt wouldn't put a timetable on a team in London or Mexico for that matter, but who knows? Maybe we aren't calling Super Bowl 100 the Super Bowl at all. Maybe we're calling it the World Bowl, and the Chiefs are playing a team from London, also called the Royals.